So I feel like the Phillies and Padres are pretty evenly matched up, but the Phillies did a better job capitalizing on mistakes than the Padres did. And that was one of the bigger differences. And also home runs. Like, the Phillies hit timely home runs. There's that. So the Phillies won this series 4-1. They outscored the Padres 25-19. Pretty evenly matched there. Some pretty close games. Bryce Harper was your NLCS MVP. He went 8 for 20 with 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, and the clinching go-ahead homer in the bottom of the 8th inning of Game 5. I watched that home run on Instagram like at least 10 times in a row.
Did you watch it with the audio from Moneyball yet?
I did, and it was amazing.
That's the best thing I've seen in a long time.
That was really cool.
That's one of the best baseball edits out of the entire baseball economy. That's one of the best edits I've ever seen in a really long time. Baseball family, if you haven't seen it, they overlaid the Bryce Harper moment and slowed it down just a little bit to match up with the music from the last bit of Moneyball with the game time announcers and the music and everything, and Bryce Harper's home run, and it is perfectly suited to the situation.
You know what I was thinking as I was sitting there watching it? Is I was getting ready to make the same edit next year when Julio Rodriguez hits that home run.
I was there when Brad called his shot. I was there.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, this is pretty cool. You know what would make it even cooler is when it's Julio Rodriguez next year.
Yeah, you funny. I like that.
But
it's true though. I mean, if it's going to be anybody at this point, it'll be
yeah. But no, Bryce Harper had an outstanding series though. Like, that guy just shows up for the playoffs.
Yeah,
he has every time he's been there. He's got like I was looking today and like his OPS is like 950 or not. It's like 970,
almost at 1.0. Well, almost at 1,000.
Dude just produces during the postseason, and it's awesome. Like,
yeah,
I love watching it. But also Rhys Hoskins had 4 hits, and all 4 were home runs. That's just what that dude does, right? He hits them when he needs to.
He's so clutch, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I think the Phillies fan base has been saying that for years, and the rest of us are like, prove it. And now
because awesome. The thing we don't see as an outside observer, as a casual like Phillies game watcher, is you don't see those moments from Rhys Hoskins. You see a guy who is super hyped up, but is kind of streaky, right? Yeah. What we're seeing is streaky. What they're seeing is he comes through in the moments that matter.
Yeah,
and I agree. Certainly did this series.
Yeah, in front of a live audience this time. Just kidding. Ha! It's a joke. A live studio audience, but the rest of the world, the rest of the baseball world got to see it, is what I mean. And you're right, it's awesome.
Yeah. One of the big problems that the Padres had was Trent Grisham came crashing back down to earth. This is the Trent Grisham that we knew from this year. Yeah. He was hitless in the entire series. Absurd. I think if he gets 3 hits, this series is still going.
Yeah, you're probably right. If one of those is a bomb, yeah. The thing about Philly though is they were able to string together small ball opportunities on top of home runs. They played fundamental, well-rounded baseball. Not that the Padres didn't, just that the Phillies did it better and in key moments. Right when the Padres didn't show up and made just a small mistake here and there, the Phillies were there to clean it up, and that's what turned it around. That's the only thing that happened.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too that we talked about this last time is that the Phillies didn't have to be super aggressive.
No.
They didn't have to force the throws from the outfield. They didn't have to force guys to throw strikes from the outfield. They could be conservative on the base pass because the next guy was going to come up and he was going to take care of business for him.
Yeah.
And if the Phillies can do that in the World Series, like I said, we're not going to get too deep into it, but I think that they'll win if they can do that. There's no stopping them if they do that.
We're gonna talk about it. I'm not going to comment right now. I'm still angry, but we'll wait.
We'll let Brig marinate just a little bit longer.
Yeah, thanks.
But one of the other big things with this series though is that like my big concern was Phillies pitching, because it was such a question mark and such a problem for most of the season that I was like, every game I was like, okay, they've got the lead, but the bullpen's coming in, and here we go.
Yeah, it wasn't their starting pitching. It was the bullpen. It was relief.
Yeah, it was the bullpen that was the problem. Yeah. But the bullpen seems to have figured things out.
They showed all the way up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Even if they did relinquish a lead, it was never out of reach.
Mm-mm.
Which is my thing is like you can bend as a bullpen, but you sure as heck cannot break.
Right.
Yeah, and they definitely didn't break. So
that's true.
Super cool. Yeah, congratulations to the Phillies. Congratulations to Phillies fans. That's awesome. I am going to be cheering hard for the Phillies.
Which Phillies player are you most thrilled for?
Bryce Harper. This is why he went to Philly. And I told my buddy, I remember I was sitting at work the day that he signed with the Phillies, and I was like, I give them 5 years to win a World Series or they tear it all down, or they trade him. And
now they're never going to trade him.
No, never.
No, they'll retain him for the rest of his career now.
Yeah,
which is what the contract is, has in store. But you're right. There was the question mark of oh no, maybe what have we done? But now, even now, they don't even have to win the World Series.
Right, just the pennant is enough. It's all worth it. Yeah, it's absolutely worth it. With the role that he plays when they're there is it's almost like we just have to get there for him, and he'll help carry us the rest of the way.
It's true. And he would have done it all season had not been for that weird thumb injury.
And then he's got that elbow injury. He can't play in the field.
The elbow. That's right. I forgot about the elbow.
Yeah. So I'm curious how much he's going to have to miss next year because of Tommy. If he needs Tommy John surgery, because I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to have to do.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Yeah. I'm just happy for Brother Harper. I really am.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Big time. Okay. My question for you before we move on, Brig, is will the Padres be back next year? Do you think this is a team that can make it? I don't even know if the question is to this far because they still have to go through the Dodgers, but will they be back in the playoffs next year, do you think?
Dodgers are going to tear it all down if they're not fools.
Right.
So I don't know that they'll need to really go through the Dodgers, quote unquote, like they did this year. If the Dodgers will smartly tear it down. So will the Phillies or will the Padres be back? Yeah, I could see the Padres dominating. I could also see the Padres just clenching their division next year. And depending on what happens in San Francisco, because San Francisco could pull it back together if they sign Aaron Judge and cornerstone it like that. It could change everything. I feel I don't know. That's a tough one because Tatis will be back, and that might throw a wrench into everything, or it might be the boost they need. There's too many variables to say at this point, Brad.
You don't want to play my game position. With me?
I'm too well informed to just jump in and say, "Go Padres." Sorry,
I get that. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Do you have an opinion?
I'm going to say they will be back because pretty much everybody's still going to be there.
Exactly.
And then you add Tatis's bat, and I think that there are enough guys in that clubhouse that if he starts to act out, there are enough guys who are kind of had it with his crap that they're going to put him in his place.
Yeah, they'll shut him right down. Yeah.
I don't think shenanigans are going to be a thing next year. And when he comes back and if he has a problem with it, there are probably 29 teams in the league that would take him off their hands gladly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That could, and that, I could see that being a trade deadline push.
So he does have that big old fatty contract, right? That they do have to move. But like I said, I think there are, if not 29, there are close to that many teams that are like, we could sure use a shortstop who can hit like that.
Who's playing shortstop in the for the Mets right now? Let me look.
Lindor.
Oh, it's Lindor. Yeah, they wouldn't do that.
No.
Okay. Because they'll spend anything. That's where my brain went. Who'd spend the money? And the Mets would spend the money.
You know who else would spend the money? It's your Yankees.
No, not with Volpe coming up. No, everybody's too excited about Anthony Volpe. I don't think they'll do it. They're going to test now in August at the trade deadline. If Volpe hasn't worked out, then yes, that is a possibility.
Because the Yankees are always in win now.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry. I have too much information. and too many opinions to just jump right in and agree with that. But yes, that is the mentality of the organization as it stands right now. Win now, win all the time. Yes. And it has been for a long time. It just hasn't worked for a long time.
But no, I like that. I like that game. And that's the question I ask myself at the end of every series. Will we see this team next year, or is this like a one and done? Like a one-off, right?
I don't think this Padres team's a one-off. If you ask the question that way, I don't think it's a one-off. Are they going to come back and win the division and end up the playoffs again? I don't know.
Well, it's
probably playoffs.
I don't care how they do it.
With the expanded format, yeah, I can see them absolutely being
better.
Yeah.